It's Eclipse Day. Welcome. We have full coverage coming up. We're starting off in Hiawatha. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but we're going to start out with our national days today. We have National Spumoni Day.
Are you looking at me? I can't even
Yeah,
tell.
if you can even see me through those glasses.
We can't see anything through these glasses.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
That means they're safe.
For the most part.
For the most part. All right. And we also have Senior Citizens Day and Stay Home with Your Kids Day, possibly to watch the eclipse.
Yeah.
I know a lot of kids have school off or excused from school to watch this eclipse with their families.
It is a big event. Certainly make sure you fill up with gas early this morning, as early as you can. Make sure that you pack your solar eclipse glasses. Welding goggles are not recommended. They're one step down from being completely safe. And make sure that you pack plenty of snacks and water, because if you are going to one of the areas of Totality, a lot of those are rural areas here in Northeast Kansas, and you could get stuck in a traffic jam. So just be patient and be mindful of anything that could go wrong.
That's right. And while eyes will be on the sky this afternoon, we have a lot of eyes on you, Doug Myers, in the Weather Center, wanting to know if it will be cloudy, if we will be able to see the total eclipse. What's it going to look like?
We're still looking at some clouds in eastern Kansas expected. It shouldn't be a surprise. That forecast virtually hasn't changed for the past week and a half that these have been in the computer models. But it's just a matter of how thick, how widespread these clouds will be. What kind of clouds will they be? Are they going to be thin enough to be able to still see it, or will they be thick enough to where you may not be able to see it through the glasses, but you'll still be able to see it turn dark once the eclipse occurs? So all those questions may not even be answered until it actually is occurring, but certainly something we'll be paying close attention to and updating you as the morning progresses, on social media and of course on air at WIBW TV. 76 degrees right now. Our Parish Hotel, Hotel and Convention Center camera. It is going to be a hot day today. We're already starting off warm in the mid 70s for most of Northeast Kansas, and taking a look at already seen some clouds filtering into the area on our Capital Federal live storm tracker. Of course, we're still a couple of hours away from the eclipse itself, so this can certainly change between now and 1 o'clock, but we are keeping an eye on an area of storms in south central Kansas, and also an area of storms in Iowa that's now back building into Omaha right now. And that's certainly something that we'll be keeping a close eye on. While that rain is not going to affect us, some of the cloud cover might from that storm system off to our northeast. And of course, that cloud cover down in south central Kansas is going to be affecting us as well. Now, I don't think that rain will hold together, although some spotty showers and thunderstorms are still possible at any point in time during the day, including at 1 o'clock for the eclipse. I think the better chances of storms will be late this afternoon after the eclipse occurs and into tonight, though. So good news there, but of course the possibility of storms does exist throughout the entire day. Low 90s for highs, so it'll be our fourth day in the 90s, but we get rid of the 90s tomorrow, and we're going to be looking at more fall-like temperatures for the rest of the week. We'll talk more about what to expect with that, and flash flood watch in effect overnight tonight. More on that in a few minutes. Guys?
All right, thanks, Doug.
2 minutes and 34 seconds. That's how long Totality will last in Hiawatha this afternoon.
Yeah, right now 13's Daniela Leon is there at the Fisher Center, where food trucks and vendors are already setting up. Daniela, what else is happening there in Brown County?
Good morning again, Reagan and Chris, and to our viewers at home. Again, I am here in Hiawatha, where this small town is ready to roll their red carpet for thousands of people. With me is the mayor of Hiawatha. And Mayor, how are you feeling right now with your town being the highlight of this eclipse?
Well, this has been a really exciting event for us. We've actually kind of been planning for this for months. When we kind of heard about the event and so forth, the Chamber of Commerce and the city got together, and we've been planning for a long time about the possibility of having a lot of people here. And they've been estimating, the experts have, for the possibility of anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 people in the Northeast Kansas area. So one of the big challenges we've faced is trying to figure out just who all is going to show up and come. So it's been really exciting, give us an opportunity to kind of show off our community and see a really neat natural event as well.
And you also work at the community hospital, so how have medical staff been prepping for this big day? Lots of concerns, obviously, with just the estimates of people coming in.
Right. And that's been, again, the biggest challenge, not only from the city standpoint, but from the hospital standpoint as well, is trying to figure just what to expect. And so you always have to kind of be prepared for the worst. We've had some extra staff on board, some extra facility things, and just kind of prepared for the possibility of, if you have a large number of people, the possibility of like a mass casualty, with the weather, heat, injuries, things of that nature. So we've got EMS staff down here by the community center where we're having all of our events, extra medical staff on board for the day. We've got extra law enforcement around, just again kind of being prepared for all the possibilities.
And it was a smooth drive for Mr. Eric Gives, who's behind the camera. And have any emergency agencies contacted you or KDOT expressing some concern with people getting up here, or has have things been smoothly so far?
So far, it's been really smooth. There was a lot of concern about that between here. The St. Joe area is also expecting a lot of people, and we're very close to there. So, so far, we haven't seen any big problems. I think the concerns about the inundation of folks for the weekend really hasn't materialized. But we've got pretty good-looking skies right now, so we're hopeful to see a lot of people as we get closer to the eclipse event.
All right, again, Danielle Leon here live in Hiawatha, Kansas. Chris and Reagan, back to you guys.
The calm before the storm in Hiawatha, so to speak. Daniela Leon, thanks for that live report. And on a programming note, our midday news will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30. And beginning at Special Report at noon, CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and throughout Northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10. All right, thanks, Jonathan.
We continue our team coverage of the solar eclipse in Holton, where Sean and Rick also are live that morning and this morning, all morning long.
Yeah, from the Banner Creek Observatory, they're talking about the big telescope going on up there. Let's head on over to Sean Wheat with an update. Sean?
Hey, you know what? One thing that we really want to let people know about is the fact that if you're going We've been talking about that basically for the past couple of weeks. But the one thing is if you're going to be viewing it through a telescope or maybe through a camera, you're going to need one of these. Now, this is just like your solar glasses, but the thing is that it is special for a camera or camera lens, or actually for a telescope. Now, if you see, they actually left us here alone over here at Banner Creek Observatory, and everybody's gone, so we're kind of having a little bit of fun. And with this lens, this is just like your solar eclipse glasses. You've got to make sure you have the right one and put it over your telescope because you'll burn out your eyes even more so. But then also, if you're utilizing a camera, a lot of these cameras are digital. But the thing is they work just like your eyes do. So what will happen is if you try to utilize your camera without a proper filter like this one, you're going to actually possibly burn out the lens in your camera or in your professional camera. It is whichever one you use. So the first thing is you take a picture is probably going to be okay if you're really quick about it. But if you're going to zoom in, you could really damage your camera lens, and that could actually cost hundreds of dollars to replace. But if you get one of these special filters, you'll be okay. Now, we kind of created our own, and I know that businesses throughout the area that deal with camera or camera equipment actually have these special filters. You should be able to still get one, but they say it over here at the observatory, you need one of these. So these telescopes are going to make it even more, the light and the rays from the sun are going to actually increase those rays into your eye. So make sure you have the proper filter if you're using a telescope, and make sure you have the proper filter if you're doing it with a camera like Rick. What we're going to do here a little bit later when we're in the path of totality is utilize this and try to get some really good images of the eclipse coming up a little bit later. But again, details about these filters and everything else on our website, WIBW.com. Guys?
13 Sean Wheat live from the Banner Creek area, the observatory up there. It's going to be a busy day up there for scientists.
And on a programming note, our midday news will begin at 11 a.m. with a look at the crowds and traffic. CBS will be interrupting Young and the Restless and airing Bold and the Beautiful at 11:30 and beginning a special report at noon. CBS and WIBW will follow the path of totality across the country and Northeast Kansas. Then join us to wrap up the day's events on our news at 4:30, 5, 6, and 10.
Watching Midday in Kansas with Chris Fisher, 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Good morning and welcome to this special early edition of Midday in Kansas. Of course, we have special CBS coverage beginning at high noon today, so we are here an hour early. And Doug, everybody wants to know, as it is that day for the total solar eclipse, I was watching through the window. It was raining in Topeka less than an hour ago, wasn't it?
We've had those spotty showers and thunderstorms developing, and then just kind of dissipate at times. And unfortunately, we're going to continue that for the next couple hours, including during the time of the eclipse. No real location where we're really focusing on. But a quick check of the road conditions conditions before we get into the weather part of it. Highway 75 looks to be the worst of it. It's where you get into the orange is slow go. Red is stop and go. And once you get in the green and yellow, it's a little bit better. So Highway 75 is the worst of it. Of course, we're seeing a little bit of moderate traffic flow along I-70 and then further up to the north along Highway 36 as well. So just take your time if you're still traveling to your destination. As I mentioned, we do have spotty showers and thunderstorms and also areas that are seeing some clear skies right now. In our Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker, the bulk of the spotty storms are along Highway 36 and then just west of Council Grove. Quick check of the high definition radar. As you can see, these spotty storms continue to move up to the north and east. So we may see a little bit of clearing, especially as we head towards right now. We are seeing clear skies and important a camera. So yes, some spots are getting clear skies early this afternoon. I should say late this morning. 86 in Topeka, 78 in Manhattan, 85 in Concordia. And your forecast for today will be around 90 degrees for the time of the eclipse around 1 o'clock and 92 this afternoon. We'll continue with at least a chance of storms all day, but better chances will come as the cold front pushes through tonight. We'll talk more about what to expect with that in a few minutes. Chris?
All right, thanks for that, Doug. Hiawatha is rolling out the red carpet for the thousands of people expected to come through their small town. We begin our team coverage this morning with 13's Daniela Leon. She's live from Brown County.
Good morning, Chris. Yes, I'm still here in Hiawatha, where, as you can see, the crowd is really bumping. It's not necessarily the 20,000 or so people that they were expecting, but there's still a large amount of people out here. You are seeing people walking through the rain, jumping on the bouncy house, because you know what? It's all about having fun. It doesn't matter that that sky is out cloudy. It doesn't matter that the rain is falling down. Everyone's happy, cheering, and waving on to us because Hiawatha, as I mentioned before, has been working months and months preparing for this big event. And the mayor right now, you know, your city was ready for this, weren't they?
Sure, yeah. I think they put a lot of hard work in, and we're excited about the crowd that we got. I can't imagine what we'd have had if we'd had really good weather. I think some of the people who were really serious about chasing this eclipse were looking for clear skies, and unfortunately we didn't really get that. But I think it looks like there may be a little break in the clouds by the time for Totality. So, but like you said, it's all about having a good time. We got lots of good crowds, so we're excited.
Definitely. I mean, it's such a hot spot that even traffic is being backed up on Highway 75 and whatnot. You know, any emergency situations currently happening?
I think just a few minor things. We've got plenty of law enforcement, and like I said, we do have a little traffic backup, but there's plenty of time for folks to come in and enjoy some of the fun. If you're interested, we'd love to see you in Hiawatha, Kansas.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Mayor, for that. And again, we will keep you posted all throughout the day on social media and, of course, here on WIBW. Chris, back to you.
All right, cloudy skies. Hopefully it does clear in Hiawatha. And crowds are battling the traffic to try and get a glimpse of the solar eclipse, including in the city of Horton. 13 Sean Wheat is there, where a former NASA employee is helping visitors understand what exactly is going to happen. Sean, what can you tell us?
Starting to file in because I'm hearing that a lot of folks who can't get up to Hiawatha on Highway 75 are stopping here in Horton, where we are at Charger Field, home of the Chargers, obviously, where there's a huge set of festivities and events for folks to enjoy. And on top of that, they have something that maybe some other events may not have, and that is a former NASA astrophysics educator. We've got Dr. Daryl Taylor with us. And Doctor, thank you so much for joining us, first of all. Now, first of all, when it comes to the eclipse, why did you decide to come to Kansas?
I came here to help Mike Ford. He's the director of Banner Creek. We've known each other forever. We worked at NASA together for about 15 years. When I found out that this was happening this year, and it cut through Kansas, I said, he better put me up.
So one of the things is obviously up here we're in total totality. We're going to be able to see the moon cover the sun here, and it starts at about 11:40. Yes. But what about those folks who are in Topeka watching us now who won't see total totality? They should probably keep their glasses on.
Oh yes, definitely keep those glasses on. Up here we're going to have a chance to take them off during totality because it's the only time it's safe, and then we have to put them right back on. You're in Topeka, you've got 99.9% darkness, but there's still going to be a sliver of light, and that sliver of light is still enough to burn your retina. So if you have safety glasses, actual real guaranteed safe glasses, you keep them on the whole time. Do not take the chance pulling them off and then getting blinded.
Now, what is one of the things that we should probably look for when we get to the point of total totality here, or even if they decide, oh, I want to take off my glasses and look around while it's completely dark? Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, during totality, there's going to be all kinds of activity going on because it'll be dark. Everyone will be sitting here going, it's like fireworks. But some animals are going to be going crazy. Birds are going to be flushing right up to the trees. And we are going to be in for a heck of a treat if the clouds clear up.
And we're hoping so. We've seen some sun already, and it's been beautiful out here. A couple of rain showers, but we're hoping these clouds go away for a little bit so we can see it. Otherwise, we do know that 75 highway is backed up in areas up to this area. If you want to, stop on by. I'm Sean Wheat in Horton.
13 Sean Wheat live from Horton. Yes, fingers crossed that the clouds clear for this afternoon. Thanks, Sean. Well, the Northeast Kansas town known for its black squirrels is gearing up for its moment in the dark. Marysville, Kansas will see just over a minute of totality. Today is the day today is day 2, I should say, of eclipse festivities in the Marshall County town. City representatives say visitors from as far away as Japan made the trek for the eclipse.
Well, this is going to air after the eclipse, so.
We had lots of people from lots of places here across the United States and even abroad. So anything that can bring people to Marysville, Kansas, and we can show off our great little city, that's a wonderful time.
It is the first coast-to-coast total solar eclipse in nearly 100 years. And I'm being told right now that we are going to go to Melissa Bruner and check in with a traffic update. Melissa, can you hear me?
I sure can, Chris. Hi. We are kind of lucky in Topeka because we are seeing some spots of sun come out, even though we've had some rain showers this morning. But traffic for everybody around Northeast Kansas was the big question mark heading into this eclipse day. And those who got out bright and early before the sun came up, they didn't have much of an issue. But as that sun came up, so did the drivers, and they hit the road. And take a look at some of the traffic situations we had seen around the area this morning. This first photo is from Highway 75 in Jackson County. That northbound traffic on Highway 75 certainly picked up quite quickly by 7 a.m. By late morning, some spots were down to 20 miles per hour, even some at a standstill. Part of the reason was this wreck near 150th Road south of Holton. Fortunately, we are told no one was injured. Continuing north through Holton, a line of cars continued. Our friends at Trails Cafe sent in this photo of what it looked like around that time. The route toward Brown and Nemaha County was not the only busy one we're hearing about today. Our viewer Jeff Wirtz sent this shot from Highway 81 in Concordia. Now, these folks might be headed to spots in the path of totality like Nebraska, or they might take that turn down Highway 36 toward Marysville or even further to the east. The Kansas Department of Transportation, and Doug Myers was showing this to you a little bit earlier, they continuously update the situation today on their candrive.org site. The areas in green have traffic flowing freely, but you do see some of those yellow areas of moderate traffic. The orange areas are the slowdowns, and those red spots indicate stop and go. Those are still on 75 around Holton, and also right at Marysville. The Hiawatha area also has been showing things moving quite well right now. So really just use your patience, use your common sense. You'll all get where you're going.
All right, Melissa Bruner, thanks for that report.
That 4 minutes from totality in Northeast Kansas represents kind of a central point, and we are entering totality at this moment in Marysville, Kansas. Also, our sister station in Colorado Springs has a good image for us. If we can take a look at that, and also we will let you know that in Topeka, this is Colorado Springs that you're looking at right here, and in Northeast Kansas, we are about to enter totality for those of you who are in the path. It is noticeably darker in Topeka, Kansas, and even though a dark cloud just moved through, do urge you to keep your eyes peeled, because every once in a while, that partially obscured sun and moon make an appearance. Hiawatha, you are entering totality right now, and we want to go live to Hiawatha and give you a look at the scene where darkness is arriving. Again, those clouds out there, so we are a little bit obscured. You can hear the crowd in Hiawatha, and you can see how dark it is in Hiawatha at this moment, as they have entered in Hiawatha their time of totality. Hiawatha is seeing about 2 minutes and 34 seconds of darkness in Hiawatha. 2 minutes and 34 seconds of darkness in Hiawatha. And look at that, the campsites. Wow. Just like that, if you notice, folks, how much darker it got in just that moment that Hiawatha got into totality. The moment when the moon is completely blocking the sun from view in Hiawatha, Kansas. The clouds not exactly cooperating today, but you can still appreciate the darkness that they're seeing in Hiawatha. You can see some of the lights that have turned on around that area. And the crowd in Hiawatha cheering as they experience totality. Even on a cloudy day, you can appreciate the noticeable difference.
Keon.
Right behind Hiawatha in the path of totality is Horton, Kansas. We want to go and show you Horton.
Okay.
It is raining in Horton. You can see some raindrops falling, but you can also see how it has gotten darker. The only illumination you see, they are in totality. So the reason, folks, that they are able to look up without the eye protection is because they are in totality at this moment in Horton, Kansas. You can see some of the automatic lights have turned on. You can see that the only illumination of the crowd is from our camera light right now. And Horton, Kansas is enjoying their time in totality. Horton has about 2 minutes and 11 seconds in the path of totality. Again, a lot of people are a little disappointed that Mother Nature had some clouds on the situation today. So they're not necessarily getting that unobstructed, beautiful view of totality that they wanted in the sun's corona, but you can still appreciate what happened with this total eclipse. It got completely dark in both Hiawatha and Horton. Again, in Topeka, we are in our 99% maximum right now. Every once in a while, you can catch a glimpse, and you can tell that it has gotten a lot darker. There's Mike Ford, who arranged things in Horton today. You can tell it's gotten a lot darker in Topeka as we have the 99% maximum obscuration at this moment. You can see right now just a tiny sliver of sunlight shining through. Washburn University is where we have a crew as well. They're at Washburn University, Yeager Stadium, Moore Bowl. They have been watching this event as well. I'm searching for my glasses because here we do need the eye protection in Northeast Kansas because we are not in the path of totality, but I have a feeling the clouds are going in and out. There's a little sliver right now that you can see. And that's kind of how it's been in the path of totality in Topeka today. I don't know if you have a shot of the crowd that's gathered at Washburn Yeager Stadium, Moore Bowl, to get a look at things right now. They're kind of looking at the clouds and looking at the rain and kind of hoping for the best. But you can see it's been dim, and obviously you can tell it's already gotten actually a little bit lighter in Northeast Kansas already. That's how quickly we passed through our 99-point-something% obscuration that we had in Northeast Kansas. So everybody there, they were hoping for a good show, but with all those clouds, at least they had a good time, right? This is all about togetherness, and you can we're on the scoreboard there at Yeager Stadium, so I'm not sure if the Washburn students want to give a good cheer and let us know that they see us there. But again, be patient, folks, because we remain in the partial eclipse here for another hour or so around Northeast Kansas. So, be patient. You can still, as we've been watching here outside for the past hour, our whole staff is outside watching us right now. We're watching the sky. But we have another hour of the partial eclipse left, and so it's going to continue to pass through. And so if you kind of keep an eye to the sky, and if you see the sun returning here over the next several minutes, come outside with your glasses. Again, look down, put them on, and then look up and find where that partial eclipse is occurring, because it still is an impressive sight. We want to let you see the rest of the path of totality through the United States right now. Okay, we are going to be continuing to cover the rest of the path of totality through the United States with CBS. St. Joe, Missouri was scheduled to have 2 minutes and 38 seconds. However, they've had a rain shower in St. Joe, Missouri. Hiawatha is coming out of its period of totality right now. Let's get another look at the scene in Hiawatha for you today. Wow. They just came out of totality, and here's where we're going to get that glare. Isn't that beautiful? That is what the folks in Hiawatha are seeing. So thank you, Mother Nature, for letting the clouds clear a bit so that we can experience almost 100% obscuration in Hiawatha as they come out of their time of totality. You can hear the crowd there appreciates this about as much as the total darkness. I mentioned my youngest sister from Maryland traveled to St. Joe. She told me they got a little bit of a hole in that rain shower to experience 2 seconds in darkness in St. Joe. But this that you're looking at right here is in Hiawatha.
Where are we at, Keon?
Oh wow.
There we go.
And there went the cloud.
Clouds
and there goes the cloud.
Clouds are taking it. Clouds took it. Clouds took it.
So we are experiencing in and out of clouds. That was our photojournalist Eric Ives, who was there with Daniela Leon in Hiawatha, and that was still amazing to be able to see that. And so, you know, it perhaps wasn't the great, huge corona unobscured view that a lot of people around Northeast Kansas were hoping for, but we did get a bit of a show from the sun today. And of course, somebody reminding us who's still in charge, right? You can't control the weather. We are just here to experience what is given to us. And so we've been able to at least enjoy a little bit of a view of an almost total eclipse. You know, I mentioned my AJ is out here with me today running the camera, and he just kind of looked at the sky and pointed to some of the blue that's coming around in Topeka. So be patient in Topeka, folks. Even though we have passed through that time of 99% obscuration, this partiality is continuing for about another hour. It's going to take that much time before the moon is completely away from the face of the sun. So over the next half hour or so, if you see those clouds break up and you get a chance to go outside with your eclipse glasses and look up, do that. Experience the partial eclipse. CBS News coverage is continuing as the path of totality continues across the country right now. It still has to make its way all the way to Charleston, South Carolina, where they also have been dealing with clouds. So we want to return you to CBS News coverage and more of this total solar eclipse.
The clouds, it's partly attributable to the eclipse, or both. We're going to kill the lights so you get a sense of, let's see if we can switch them off. As you noticed, if you've been following this broadcast, we've turned off the lights for our reporters across the country so you can get the feel of what happens here.
Welcome back into our special 13 News and CBS coverage of the total solar eclipse. The peak of Mother Nature's show in Northeast Kansas at least has passed, but plenty of partial obscuration remains. We want to give a final look at our crews who are out there watching the eclipse throughout our area. Let's start with Sean Waite. He has been in Horton all morning for us. Sean?
Well, Melissa, as you can probably see from the video, we still see the eclipse going on. This is the tail end of the eclipse as it moves through Horton. And we have got a former NASA employee, Dr. Daryl Taylor. And first of all, we're still seeing it. The clouds finally broke at the tail end.
Yeah, unfortunately, they broke right after totality. But that was such a wonderful event because since it was so dark here, we could actually see the darkness going to our east. And in the west, it was getting lighter and lighter. It was just this eerie glow, and that's what we were looking for.
And one thing you had actually noticed was the birds were starting to fly, like they were confused. What else did you notice?
Yeah, well, we noticed the birds taking off. We noticed the street lights popping on all of a sudden. And we also noticed the drastic drop in temperature. It dropped another 5 degrees just for those 2 minutes.
And explain to everybody what we are seeing. How much of the sun and moon are we seeing at this very moment?
Right now, it's still about 2/3 covered. It's going to take probably the better part of an hour to clear back out. But this is exactly in reverse what we saw leading up to totality. Now it's just washing its way out.
And what a lot of folks don't understand is actually there is still cloud cover, but we have got enough sun that is not covered that it's actually peeking through. And with that filter, we're able to still see it. So we have a great shot here. We're getting this, and we're going to make sure we get it uploaded also to our website as soon as we can at WIBW.com. Melissa?
Great view still as the partial eclipse continues for several more minutes around Northeast Kansas. Hiawatha also has been a huge gathering spot today. They had hoped to get 2 minutes and 34 seconds to view the total eclipse. Daniela Leon is there with the people who got the show in Hiawatha.
Melissa, that Great American Solar Eclipse officially made its way through Hiawatha, and let me tell you, it was a spectacular view up in the sky. I do want to say, though, it was cut a little too short because of those clouds up there, which is kind of upsetting for me and especially for the people who came out of state, and that is the case for Ryan. Overall, you know, you're from Texas, you were telling me, San Antonio. Do you think it was worth it?
Oh, most definitely. You know, they always say that, you know, once totality happens, it gets dark. All around the horizon, it looks like a sunset all around you. You start to hear the animals, the crickets, and the birds start flying and going all sorts of crazy. And all that happened, even though, you know, the eclipse was kind of clouded out a little bit, you still got to see all those effects. So just that and all was worth it.
It was totally worth it. And a family, you guys agree? Definitely. Yes. You know, have you guys ever seen or experienced anything of this nature before?
So not a total. So there was a partial eclipse that I got to witness, but nothing like this. nothing like this. And I'm looking forward in 2024, there's going to be another eclipse coming up through Texas and over towards the East Coast. And I'm surely gonna be
excited
flying out and flying to that. Yeah.
You got a taste for it, now you want more.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Now we definitely want more. Again, mark your calendars, 2024. 2024. Now that's where we're going to be next, Melissa. Back to you.
Daniela, thanks. And it is interesting that they, too, said that it was well worth the experience. I'd been mentioning my sister traveled from Maryland to St. Joe, Missouri with some of her friends from Texas. She said they got a brief break in the rain shower and the clouds to get just a little bit of that totality glimpse. And she said it was super cool, well worth the trip. Ralph Hipp is in our studio as well. He has been watching our coverage today as well as it has crossed the country. Ralph, we have a lot more coverage coming up later today.
We do, Melissa, and Ryan is absolutely right. It's April the 8th of 2024. It will go through Mexico and Texas the next time. It's total all the way to Canada and the Maritime provinces. So, Melissa, I would say, and to all of you at home, save those solar glasses. We don't have to wait 99 years for another one. And you don't have to wait long for our 13 News team coverage. We're going to see how many of our reporters can get back in-house. We hope to have them all here preparing their reports, starting with the news at 4:30, reaction, and also on Live at 5. Anthony Mason will be along with the CBS Evening News at 5:30, live from Carbondale, Illinois. So reaction on the way, and we're going to have some great reactions, and they'll be coming up starting at 4:30. Melissa?
We will, and as Ralph mentioned, if you are going to be heading out, you can head to CAN Drive. That's KANDrive.org. KDOT has been continuously updating their map all day long in terms of where you might find some of those traffic trouble spots. It had been, of course, northbound traffic. If you're in our area, northbound traffic had been seeing some of those slowdowns and backups earlier today, so keep an eye on any of that southbound traffic. They are keeping an eye on CANDrive.org, and also, you want to keep those glasses handy because the partial eclipse is continuing to finish up around northeast Kansas. And as far as cell service, we have been hearing some reports of some spotty service, maybe slowed down service from place to place, but not necessarily any massive outages that we've heard of at this point. But again, just be patient, be cautious, be safe wherever you're going. We want to catch the last bit of the path of totality from the United States as we head back to CBS News.
Eclipse. We can understand more about solar flares and the radiation that comes with those and how.
A 70-mile shadow swept across the United States from coast to coast today, the first solar eclipse visible from the United States since 1979, and the first across the entire continent in 99 years. Look at the sight that thrilled the country from Oregon through Wyoming and Kansas, finally ending in South Carolina. Our next solar eclipse in the U.S. is in 2024, but even it will not be seen coast to coast like today's. Good evening. I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp, delighted to have you here for our 13 News team coverage. As expected, the roads leading to the path of totality saw a lot more traffic than your typical Monday.
We are hearing things are getting back to normal right now. There are a few slowdowns on Highway 75 north of Holton on the way there. Getting home caused quite a traffic jam. This video near Holton from our Skywatch 13 drone shows the steady stream of southbound traffic, but it doesn't show the worst of it. The two-lane stretch north of Holton to Highway 36, which was the main route to towns like Hiawatha and Sabetha, was at a crawl for several hours this afternoon. Brown County Sheriff John Merchant estimates a backup of about 30 miles at one point on Highway 75. However, both he and Jackson County Sheriff Tim Morse report no major incidents. They did have a few minor injury accidents. And as you see again, as we mentioned, this is that video we were telling you about, the situation with the bumper-to-bumper traffic, very slow going on southbound 75 after eclipse viewers were leaving those towns to the north on Highway 36 like Hiawatha, Horton. The southbound 75 traffic very heavy today, but again, back to normal.
Watching the solar eclipse from Horton, Kansas was hit and miss at times for sure, Melissa. But in the end, those who were there, they were able to snap some amazing photos and videos of the astronomical phenomenon. 13's Sean Wheat and our photojournalist Rick Felsberg trained our cameras on the sky when those clouds broke for just a little while.
Solar eclipse enthusiasts from all across the nation made their viewing spot Horton, Kansas.
Near Pasadena, California.
From Cascade, Iowa.
We traveled from Tucson, Arizona.
Traveling all that distance to get stuck in the rain when totality hit. But with luck, just before and just after totality, they were rewarded with a great look at the moon over the sun.
When you're dealing with nature, Nature always wins. You cannot control it. You can't even hope to think of controlling it.
Many agreed they wouldn't let the clouds put a damper on the fun and excitement.
I mean, sure, I want to see the whole thing. It's going to be great, but 7 years, we'll try it again.
No, I've seen two before. In Virginia Beach and in Gaspé Peninsula in Canada. Yeah. So I think it's going to be fun no matter what.
You know, there's always 2024.
People made the best of the cloudy weather, shopping with local vendors, playing games, and getting to know one another, making August 21st a day to remember.
People get excited, people get carried away. Here we are.
Sean Wheat, 13 News.
Thank you, Sean. Great job over there in the small city of Hiawatha, Kansas, in the eclipse's path of totality. Had 20,000 people originally estimated to come to the town, and the weather might have rained on their parade a bit. 13's Daniela Leon was live throughout the morning and afternoon, telling us what the city had in store for its thousands of visitors today.
From California, New Jersey, and Topeka, thousands descended to Hiawatha, Kansas, and watched the sky go from light to dark in less than 3 minutes.
It's really creepy.
The Great American Solar Eclipse crossed America from sea to shining sea for the first time in nearly 100 years. Hiawatha was one of the few cities where the moon completely covered our sun, sparking NASA to stop by.
Science is cool, and this is one of the wonders of nature. I mean, this is something that has enthralled people for thousands and thousands of years.
An estimated 4,000 to 5,000 people came out to Hiawatha for the eclipse. The small town spent nearly a year prepping for the big day, waking up at the crack of dawn to make sure everything ran as smoothly as possible.
So it's been really exciting, give us an opportunity to kind of show off our community and see a really neat natural event as well.
But Mother Nature had a few tricks up her sleeve and made sure to tease us throughout the day.
Absolutely nothing. It's very cloudy right now.
The clouds have just covered up the small sliver that's left.
But the majority kept their shades on and cheered as the eclipse made its way through America's heartland.
The crickets and the birds start flying and going all sorts of crazy. And all that happened, even though, you know, the eclipse was kind of clouded out a little bit, you still got to see all those effects. So just that and all was worth it.
While that next solar eclipse doesn't really cross through Hiawatha, a lot of the residents say they wouldn't mind making a drive a little farther to the south next time to experience it again. Melissa?
One of the first Kansas communities in the path of totality was Marysville, and they were perhaps one of the luckier spots in our area. Some morning clouds cleared up to give them an impressive seat for their time in the dark. Marysville saw just over 1 minute of totality. It also gave students a great location for this first-hand science lesson.
It was just really cool how everything around you went dark, and the only thing you could really see was just the outline of the moon in the sun. It was just super cool how you couldn't see. It was all dark.
We're writing about the eclipse and asking questions.
Why is it so important that you learn about the eclipse?
Because there might not be another time that you see an eclipse.
You'll be hearing from some Topeka students who weren't quite so lucky a little bit later. Marysville, by the way, held 2 days of festivities to celebrate the eclipse. Students at Washburn University headed outdoors for the first day of class. 13's Tiernan Shank visited one of the biggest eclipse parties in Topeka, where the rain didn't stop the excitement.
That's right. Even the smallest glimpse of sun sent the crowds at Yeager Stadium into a frenzy. But those clouds didn't budge. Washburn students and faculty say they were disappointed, but glad the community came together for several special seconds.
It was hot and sunny as people stood in line outside Washburn's Yeager Stadium to grab a pair of free eclipse glasses.
So I've been looking forward to it for a long time, for a couple of months now. Me and my dad have been getting ready for it for a couple months. My whole family has glasses already. We're really excited for this.
But as it got closer to 1:06 p.m., the time Topeka peaked at 99% of the sun blocked, clouds covered the sky.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I think I told you a while ago, remember the nursery rhyme, clouds, clouds, go away, come again another day? They haven't gone away yet.
Still, the clouds didn't stop the spirit inside the stadium.
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and being able to spend time with my family and see this is something that would be important to me.
Washburn President Jerry Farley says the eclipse was as much social as it was scientific.
We wanted to do something today for the students that are here on campus, for citizens here in Topeka, to give them a venue where they come be with one another. People like being with other people. And on the college campus, I mean, look around. Isn't this a beautiful sight here?
Washburn representatives say they gave out 3,500 pairs of eclipse glasses and sold about 200 boxed lunches. Even without the sun, students say it was an event to remember.
It was still really cool because it did get really dark and we could hear the cicadas, and I thought that was kind of cool. It did feel like it was nighttime.
Most people left immediately after the eclipse, but I spoke with several people who decided to stay and were just happy looking up in the sky and maybe imagining it. We still saw it get darker, so it was an event to see. Thanks so much, Tiernan.
And a complete madhouse at Kansas State where some 2,000 people were part of the solar eclipse viewing party on campus. Classes were suspended today. They'll start up tomorrow over there. 13's Erica Hall in Manhattan shows us how students and faculty didn't let a little bit of bad weather stop them from taking it all in.
Even the rain and being able to cut the first day of class did not stop K-State students from coming out to celebrate the historic solar eclipse.
Oh, I'm pumped. I have 4 classes today, only had to go to 1.
Students were granted excused absences on Monday so they could witness the solar eclipse.
Oh, it's amazing. That's honestly just why K-State's the best. They have this big family atmosphere, just bring us all together.
Many saying Monday's solar eclipse is the experience of a lifetime.
You know, it's so getting crazier the darker it gets. It's almost like the more people are coming out, the louder it gets. It's just, everyone's so hyped to be here and excited to see this, what might be once in a lifetime event for some people.
Honestly, my biggest thing, I'm ready for the big gasp when the totality comes at 103. That's what I'm ready for.
I'm just so thankful that we're just not stuck in class right now. We have the opportunity to just experience this all together and really just come together as a university to experience this.
K-State Student Union Program Council put on the event that included live music, eclipse information, and lots of solar-themed giveaways. The viewing was hosted partially inside due to rain. Fortunately, though, there were a few breaks in cloud coverage, so students were able to make it out and catch a glimpse of the solar eclipse at its peak at about 1:04.
I think it's really cool that the school does all this for us. They even gave us the glasses, which I was like, I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was from Topeka, and I went to like 3 different stores and called a bunch of others, and they were all sold out. So when they sent the email out, the school's giving them away, I was like, I gotta get there early.
In Manhattan, Erica Hall, 13 News.
Good thing that students did get there early. More than 900 eclipse glasses were handed out before they ran out. That was in less than an hour. And the clouds were an inconvenience today. They could lead to a more dangerous situation later tonight.
Right. Showers on the way. Peyton Sanders is in for Jeremy this week. What are you seeing meteorologically, Peyton?
Hi, Ralph, Melissa. Yes, we are talking about the possibility for some scattered storms. In fact, we are seeing more develop right now here during the 6 o'clock hour. And over the course of the next hour, I do think we'll begin to see more activity on the radar. But take a look at this eclipse. This is from space. On our satellite picture today, look at the shadow crossing all the way across the United States this afternoon. Pretty cool. This is a way to see it, though, without those clouds that were covering northeast Kansas. You can see them there as well. If you didn't really get a good view of the eclipse today, next total eclipse nearby will be in 2024. From Dallas all the way up northeast to southeastern sections of Missouri and into New England. So gotta wait 7 more years till the next one moves close by. Scattered storms in the area tonight. I'll talk more about that. Plus have your full 8-day forecast coming up.
And in a bit, how one of our local schools got into the solar eclipse spirit.
The rain may have dampened spirits, but the learning was still going.
You're watching 13 News at 6 with Melissa Bruner and Ralph Hipp. 13 News, Kansas News Leader. You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Topeka Collegiate staff and parent volunteers had some activities ready to go 2 hours before the eclipse.
Their penumbra party included some lessons on ways to look at the moon, passing the sun without hurting their eyes, of course. And as Reagan Porter explains, Mother Nature still got in their way.
I don't see anything. Topeka Collegiate students weren't able to see the eclipse due to cloud cover, but they did get to experience the darkness created by the phenomenon. It feels like I'm at school at night, but I still can see it. Look, the blue sky. The crickets thought it was like nighttime. Isn't that amazing?
Onlookers in Topeka were set to see 99% of the total solar eclipse. Even though the weather didn't map out as Topeka Collegiate had hoped,
that didn't stop students from learning.
If the sun was out, you would see this sun coming down and hitting these circles.
7th grade teacher Christopher Denton says the kids learned a lot before the eclipse too, including how to make and use pinhole projection boxes, which turned out to be the best way to view the eclipse on a cloudy day.
You could see a little sliver of when the moon was passing in front of the sun. So I was surprised today that the pinhole boxes over here were the most effective way to see the sun.
So we learned all about that, and then we learned like what will happen if you don't use the glasses.
We're gonna go down, snap, and up.
It might not hurt if you look at the sun, but like 10 years later, then you'll go blind. And you don't want to be blind in high school.
Mr. Denton is confident his students will walk away knowing how an eclipse works. Did he do it right, Delaney?
Yes.
And how to use eclipse glasses in 2024.
So they'll have the knowledge to safely view it next time around.
Reagan Porter, 13 News.
And thank you a bunch, Reagan. Students and staffers at Tecumseh South Elementary got to see the eclipse outside after all with their safety-approved glasses. The Shawnee Heights District among those affected by the fake glasses recall we told you about. Principal Scott Dial worked to find 3,000 pair for the district, paying a higher price for the kids to join in the experience. As he said, you do not want to go blind in high school. So
no, you don't.
They really followed the warnings very well.
We have some other watches and warnings to alert you to tonight. Peyton Sanders looks at what the rain might have in store next. People chasing Totality made their way to northeast Kansas, and while many battled clouds to get their glimpse of the country's first coast-to-coast total solar eclipse in nearly a century, one of the first Kansas communities in its path ended up with one of the best views. Marysville, Kansas welcomed people from all over.
I'm from Texas, near Austin.
Even though I live in California, I've got to get to the zone of totality.
And of all ages.
We're writing about the eclipse and asking questions.
To totally immerse themselves in a lesson of a lifetime.
Because there might not be another time that you see an eclipse.
It's just really an opportunity that we are here to learn as much as we can and share it.
The home of the Black Squirrels was ready to put on a show.
So anything that can bring people to Marysville, Kansas, and we can show off our great little city, that's a wonderful time.
The headliner Monday needed no special promotion.
A total solar eclipse makes night during the daytime, so that's what I'm intrigued about.
You still feel the temperature change and see the light change and that 360 sunset.
While clouds threatened to steal the day's thunder, just after 1:03 p.m., the reward was out of this world.
Wow. It was just really cool how everything around you went dark, and the only thing you could really see was just the outline of the moon in the sun.
A community and a crowd plunged into darkness for just over a minute, leaving memories that will last forever.
It was just super cool.
Our chief photojournalist Doug Brown capturing those stunning views in Marysville today. Clouds in Hiawatha, but that didn't stop them from shining in the spotlight as thousands descended on their small town for the solar eclipse. The city planned for this day for nearly a year. They prepared for as many as 20,000 people to show up for their celebrations, ended up with about 5,000. City officials say the inclement weather forecast likely kept down some attendance, but still the clouds cleared enough to catch a glimpse of the eclipse and see the skies turn to night. Those who battled the traffic to get to Horton were able to get a glimpse of the eclipse. Clouds blocked their view of Totality. Rain was falling as it hit, but they did get to see some of the partial coverage as the clouds cleared. Hundreds traveled from as far away as Ohio, Arizona, and California. College students and community members came together at Washburn-Yeager Stadium this morning. They started off sunny with people lining up to get free solar eclipse glasses, but by the time of Topeka's peak hit, clouds covered the skies. Washburn reps say they gave out more than 3,500 eclipse glasses and sold about 200 boxed lunches to their crowd there. K-State students also scrambled to see the sky. The K-State Student Union Program Council put on a viewing event. It included live music, eclipse information, and lots of solar-themed giveaways. While some events moved indoors due to rain, a few breaks in the clouds allowed students to glimpse Manhattan's peak time for the eclipse around 1:04 p.m. K-State gave out more than 900 glasses in less than an hour. They had an estimated 2,000 people take in the eclipse on K-State's campus.
Well, as the eclipse came and went very quickly, Melissa, the traffic stuck around for hours, and it's back to normal tonight along the roads in that path of totality. Getting there saw a few slowdowns on Highway 75 north of Holton. Getting home was the real traffic jam, as you can imagine. This is video from Holton from our Skywatch 13 drone, not really showing the worst of it. The two-lane stretch north of Holton to Highway 36, which was the main route to towns like Hiawatha and Sabetha. Oh, this is it. They were at a crawl for hours this afternoon. Brown County Sheriff John Merchant tells us they had a backup of some 30 miles at one point on US 75. However, both he and his colleague counterpart Jackson County Sheriff Tim Morse still report no major accidents from the eclipse or traffic jams today. Just a few wrecks, no major injuries.